Aidan O'Connell trade rumors. What's really going on? What's the deal with Aidan O'Connell and the Raiders? Trade rumors surrounding the quarterback have started heating up as we approach the 2025 NFL Draft. And today, we're breaking it all down. Why would Las Vegas consider trading away their young quarterback? What kind of value could O'Connell bring in a deal? And is there still a path where he stays in silver and black for another year? Let's start with the latest buzz. According to The Athletic's Vic Tafur, the Raiders are open to moving O'Connell during the draft. The idea? Bring in a new rookie quarterback to develop behind veteran Geno Smith and potentially reset the timeline for the position. New minority owner Tom Brady reportedly supports the idea of grooming a young QB slowly, letting them learn rather than rushing them into the fire. Even in a year where the quarterback class isn't as deep, there are still intriguing options available. That could open the door for a trade. Now, let's talk numbers. O'Connell carries just a $1.2 million cap hit, a bargain for a player with real starting experience. If Las Vegas does decide to trade him, the dead cap would be just $255,000, with only $93,000 in savings. So clearly, this move wouldn't be about money. It's all about value, and that's the key point. This might be the peak of Aidan O'Connell's trade value. A former fourth-round pick, O'Connell has already started 17 games in his first two seasons, holding his own through coaching changes and a shifting roster. If he spends 2025 on the bench behind Geno Smith, his stock could drop by next offseason. At that point, he'd only have 1 year left on his rookie deal. Not exactly ideal for trade leverage. Now, let's be real. While O'Connell may not be viewed as a long-term starter, he's proven that he belongs in the league. He's smart, calm under pressure, and has shown flashes of potential with 20 touchdowns to 11 interceptions. He's exactly the kind of backup you want. Someone reliable, who can step in if needed and keep the offense moving. Think of him as a Brian Hoyer type, not flashy, but steady. A guy who'll be in the NFL for years, and who's already earned respect in the locker room. Whether the Raiders keep him or deal him during the draft, Aidan O'Connell's journey is far from over. But his future in Las Vegas? That's still up in the air. Is Aidan O'Connell the odd man out in Vegas? Aidan O'Connell is an easy player to root for, no doubt about it. But even so, there are some real reasons why he might not be part of the Raiders' long-term plans. Let's start with the obvious. The Raiders are once again under new leadership. It feels like every offseason comes with a new regime in Las Vegas, and this year is no different. O'Connell was drafted by former head coach Josh McDaniels and GM Dave Ziegler in the fourth round of the 2023 draft. Fast forward to 2025, and the front office has flipped again. Think of it like buying a car. If you bought one in 2023 and someone offered you close to the original price just 2 years later, that's a win. That's kind of what this situation feels like. The Raiders could potentially recoup solid value for a player they picked in the mid-rounds just 2 drafts ago. From O'Connell's point of view, a trade might not sound so bad either. With constant coaching changes and a shifting offensive system, finding stability as a backup quarterback becomes tough. It wouldn't be surprising if he preferred a fresh start somewhere with a more consistent structure. Now, to be clear, Aidan fits a lot of what this new leadership group seems to value. He works hard, loves the game, and doesn't shy away from competition. But at the same time, when a new front office steps in, they often want to bring in their quarterback, someone they handpick and can build around. That could be another reason why Vegas might be ready to move on. So here's the big question. Should the Raiders trade Aidan O'Connell during the 2025 NFL Draft, or keep him on the roster? It's a coin flip right now. There's no inside info here, just a logical look at the situation. It's not about throwing shade at any one report. And just like the Jack Jones release earlier this offseason, if O'Connell does get moved, it would be one of those I get it decisions. If you're asking for odds, it's about 50-50. He's just as likely to be traded as he is to remain a Raider heading into Week 1. Here's another reason why a trade feels more likely. The Raiders are clearly doing their homework on quarterbacks in this year's draft. As of now, they've used 8 or 9 of their top 30 pre-draft visits on QBs alone. That's a huge chunk of their evaluation window. That tells us one thing loud and clear. Las Vegas is serious about adding another arm. Whether it's in round 1, round 2, or even later, this team is preparing to bring in a new quarterback. With so much attention on the position, it wouldn't be surprising to see the Raiders take one at almost any point in the draft. And that brings us back to O'Connell. If Vegas brings in a rookie quarterback and already has Geno Smith in the mix, it gets crowded fast. Something's got to give. Despite what some may think, this isn't about disliking Aidan. He's easily one of the top 40 quarterbacks in the NFL right now. But with the direction this team is headed, there's a real chance his chapter in Las Vegas could be coming to an end. Aidan O'Connell. Too good to be a QB3? Let's be real. Aidan O'Connell is way too talented to be sitting as a third-string quarterback on any NFL roster. But when you look at the Raiders' potential draft picks and the top 30 visits they've scheduled, it's clear that O'Connell could be facing some serious competition. Now, I'm not saying Geno Smith isn't the guy. I believe he is. But when it comes to Pete Carroll, you never know what might happen with a starting job. We've seen it before with Russell Wilson, so you can't rule out the possibility of some competition at QB1. The thing I want to address is the attitude some fans have about Aidan O'Connell. I've seen Raiders fans claim O'Connell is already better than Geno. And look, with all due respect, I'm just not buying it. Geno Smith is a seasoned pro, and as much as O'Connell has shown potential, there's no comparison yet. What I think the Raiders coaching staff wants, especially Pete Carroll and John Spytek, is for the fan base to get behind Geno. They want Raiders fans to fully invest in him, believe in him, and trust that he's the guy going forward. If there's a vocal segment of the fan base that's constantly pushing for O'Connell over Geno, it creates a divide, and that's the last thing they want. If you're one of those fans who's pushing for Aidan over Geno, you might actually be part of the reason why Aidan O'Connell could get traded. It might seem odd, but it's a strategy to avoid a quarterback controversy and rally the team around Geno. If you're all about Aidan, maybe it's time to reconsider what's best for the team's unity. Could Aidan O'Connell stay? Now let's take a step back and look at the other side of the argument. Why might the Raiders keep Aidan O'Connell? It's funny, but when a report like this comes out from Vic Tafur, it sometimes makes me think it's less likely to happen. So just because the rumors are out there doesn't mean a trade is guaranteed. Let's take a look at why O'Connell could stay with the Raiders, both for the present and the future. First off, Pete Carroll has a long history of loving competition. He's not afraid to let the best guy win the job, regardless of their draft position or experience. That's the kind of environment Aidan O'Connell thrives in. Whether it's a rookie QB or another veteran, O'Connell would bring fierce competition to the table, and that can only help the team get better. Think about it. If the Raiders draft a top quarterback, whether it's an athletic freak like Jalen Milroe, a guy with Chip Kelly experience like Will Howard, or even a top-round pick like Shedeur Sanders, having O'Connell in that room would be invaluable. He's a smart player who would push that rookie to improve every day. And let's be honest, if Geno Smith goes down, I'm not sure any rookie would give you a better chance to win right now than O'Connell. Sure, I like Shedeur Sanders, and Jackson Dart has potential, but if you need a guy to step in and win games immediately, O'Connell might still be your best bet. So, here's the big question. What is the Raiders' quarterback plan for the future? Will they go with a young quarterback to develop, or will they lean on a proven veteran like Geno Smith and keep O'Connell as the backup? The answer is still up in the air, but one thing's for sure, this is a crucial decision for the Raiders as they shape their roster for the upcoming season. The future of Aidan O'Connell. Trade or keep? The question of whether to keep Aidan O'Connell or trade him really comes down to how the Raiders approach the quarterback position in the coming years. Depending on who they end up drafting, the picture could become a bit clearer. If you're selecting a quarterback with the future in mind, someone to develop over the next 2 to 3 years, I'd personally keep Aidan O'Connell. The reason? The competition. Let's be honest, going up against O'Connell every day would push any rookie quarterback to get better. Why trade away a quarterback who can serve as a solid insurance policy? Think about this. If you're Tom Brady and you're telling me, I want to draft a quarterback and let him sit for 2 to 3 years, it doesn't make sense to just throw that rookie into the fire if Geno Smith gets hurt. You'd be putting the rookie quarterback in a tough spot, right? The smart move would be to let Geno be QB1, have O'Connell and the rookie compete, and if something happens to Geno, let Aidan step in and keep developing the rookie quietly for a couple of seasons. The Raiders don't want to rush a young quarterback into action before they're ready. But let's say you draft someone as a project, someone you're not sure about long-term. In that case, I get it, a trade might make sense. But overall, it should be about creating healthy competition and putting the best product on the field. I believe O'Connell offers great value in that regard. Now, if the Raiders get a strong draft offer for him, sure, I'd consider trading Aidan, but I'm not just going to trade him for the sake of making a move. If the offers aren't good enough, I'd rather keep O'Connell. The reality is, he's too valuable to just let go. He's a smart, capable quarterback with a lot to offer, especially in practice, where he can help develop other players. In terms of trade value, I'd expect something like a fifth-round pick for O'Connell. I know some might think that's too much, but if you look at other trades, it makes sense. For example, when the Patriots traded Joe Milton to the Cowboys, the deal seemed to be influenced by Milton's personal connection to Dallas. But even so, teams were interested in him. I'm not saying Aidan O'Connell is exactly like Joe Milton. He's much more polished, but the Raiders shouldn't be settling for a late-round pick, especially a 2026 seventh-rounder. That doesn't align with their vision. I trust the Raiders' current regime, but I'm really curious to see what their long-term plan is. If they do trade O'Connell, I'd expect it to signal that they believe the rookie quarterback they bring in can step in right away, just in case Geno Smith goes down. But until we know more about the plan, it's all just speculation. Potential trade destinations for Aidan O'Connell. Now, let's dive into the potential trade destinations for Aidan O'Connell, because it's one thing to say he's a tradable asset, but where could he actually end up? There are several teams that might be interested in him. New England Patriots. First off, you can't forget about the New England Patriots. With Josh McDaniels still in the mix, you know he could be intrigued by a player he's familiar with. The Patriots already have backup QB Josh Dobbs, but with McDaniels' connection, it wouldn't surprise me if they made a move for O'Connell. The familiarity could play a big role. Pittsburgh Steelers. Next, we have the Pittsburgh Steelers. If they're not fully committed to their current QB situation and with the uncertainty surrounding Aaron Rodgers, Pittsburgh could be an option. Let's be real, Aidan O'Connell is probably an upgrade over Mason Rudolph. If he had the kind of defense Pittsburgh boasts, I could see him winning 7 or 8 games, maybe even 9. If the Steelers are concerned about their QB depth, O'Connell could provide a solid solution. Tennessee Titans. The Tennessee Titans are another team to watch. While they're rumored to be targeting Cam Ward, Will Levis or Aidan O'Connell could be a debate. While Levis may be the top choice, if Tennessee's not completely sold on him, O'Connell could step in and compete for a spot. Green Bay Packers. Then there's always the Green Bay Packers. Green Bay has had several former Raiders players come through, and there's a lot of organizational history linking the two. While Aidan doesn't have direct ties to head coach Rich Bisaccia, the Packers could still be a destination due to these long-standing relationships. Minnesota Vikings. The Minnesota Vikings might also be interested, particularly if they aren't entirely convinced about their current quarterback situation or future with someone like J.J. McCarthy. If Minnesota doesn't love the top quarterback prospects in the draft, they might take a shot on a guy like Aidan O'Connell to compete for the role. Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Finally, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. They're another team in flux with Baker Mayfield as their starter. There are a lot of connections to former Raiders personnel, including John Spytek and Tom Brady, so the relationships there could make a trade interesting. Other potential trades. Another reason a trade could happen is if a team looking to move up in the draft decides they want to go after a quarterback and needs to make room. O'Connell could be a valuable piece in a trade package for teams trying to move back or secure a future pick.